9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Freethought in Florida. Freethought in Florida is a production of the atheist community of Polk County. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. There's a cat, there's a dog, there's a spray bottle. My God. Today is Friday, 2nd of July, 2021. Make sure your mortgage is paid, everybody. We want to thank our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/polkatheists, Julian Conrad, Devin, Virgil's Cardboard Box, Todd, Freethinker215, Alice, and Alan. That list is getting a little too big for
oh no
to read it every time. We're gonna have to come up with something with top patrons or something. But we do want to welcome a big Florida swamp ass welcome to our newest patron, Norma. Yay!
Welcome,
Thank you,
Norma.
Norma.
Yay. Norma.
You too can make a monthly pledge at patreon.com/polkatheists. Support the show. Get access to some bonus Patreon-only music that Devin and Becca make. That I edit things that
Really
Devin
good.
and Becca say into music. You're missing out if you're not a patron.
I will never
Do
have
you really
a
call
career in
that music,
politics.
though?
Absolutely.
And of course, you can also rate and review and give us all the stars, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to the show. Like, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube, and get notified when we go live. All of that good stuff helps us grow, and we appreciate you very much. Joining me tonight, my lovely wife, Becca.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Becca.
I just looked at the feed and I look like I'm sitting under the surface of the sun.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand this,
It's like,
this light problem.
What in the world?
I don't know.
I'm shiny. Angelic, if
It's
you
because
will.
this camera is a piece of shit.
I need a halo.
See, the camera you're using is different from Mike. I have the expensive camera.
Oh, sure. Give yourself the good stuff and give me the shit in the corner.
Devin Graham.
Hi.
How are you, Devin?
Really great. Really great. As always.
As always. And the American Humanist Association will be celebrating 80 years of humanism with their annual conference coming up July 24th and 25th. So
older than us.
here to tell us all about it is Nicole Carr, Development Director for American Humanist Association, editor of The Humanist magazine, and senior editor of thehumanist.com. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excited to have you here and talk about this, the conference coming up. It's great, and we get the scoop, right? This is
Yes.
hot off the presses, big news. Humanist of the Year. We got the scoop, right?
Oh.
Well, we actually announced it yesterday, but this is the first podcast we've talked about
Okay,
it.
good, perfect. We'll take it.
Yes.
But so we announced
Podcast, just
that
say media
our
outlet.
media outlet.
God.
Get my
I'll
big
get
head.
it right next time.
You're fine.
Guys, this is a shit show already. Oh my God.
Hey.
But yes, we announced yesterday that Dr. Anthony Fauci will be the 2021 Humanist of the Year.
Yay!
He's going to make remarks to wrap up the the conference. And,
Are Devin and Becca performing?
that would be fine, but it will just be a conference. He's going to make remarks to wrap up the conference on Sunday, the 25th, in the evening on the East Coast.
That's
So we're very
awesome.
excited about that.
That is awesome. We love Dr. Fauci.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ugh, that's great. Well, go ahead. What, Devin?
I have nothing to say.
Okay, so
I just love him.
so let's talk about the conference itself then.
Yes.
It is virtual still, correct?
It is virtual. We when we started planning it, we didn't know what the situation would be with the pandemic, and I guess we're sort of still not sure what the situation will be in a
Good call.
few
Good
weeks.
call.
We don't want to worry about checking vaccinations or any of that. So
Right.
we're doing it virtually again this year. So that means people can join from the privacy of their own homes. We have a new platform this year called Whova, which is designed for virtual and hybrid conferences. And there are lots of ways for once you register to attend the conference. Devin just became a style.
This only happens to Devin.
I don't know. It just happens. It's my knack. It's this stupid program, whatever this is. I'm so angry. Just ignore me.
Just roll with it.
You need to take a selfie. Oh, jeez.
Sure.
Take a selfie of you before each show and upload it as that picture, and then it'll just look like you froze.
There you go.
There you go.
Great idea. No. Okay, we are talking about a really great conference and a great platform, and
well, the neat thing about the platform we're using is that once you go to our website conference.americanhumanist.org, and you can buy your ticket from there, and then you can you can download this app, use it either on your laptop or you can use it on any of your devices. It's free. The app is, and but it's neat because once you're registered for the conference, you can communicate with other attendees. There are, people are already on the app chatting with each other, and there are icebreaker questions. So it's a real opportunity to sort of get to know people around the humanists around the country. And then all of the sessions will take place through that app. It's a Zoom integration. So you can watch the sessions on your laptop at home or on your phone or tablet if you're not at home, or so you can watch it from wherever you are.
Well, it'll be like an A/B test for us because we used something similar for the American Atheist Conference, and it had things that I loved and it had things that I was like, that didn't really work.
Well, I have to say I attended the American Atheist Conference as an exhibitor, and I actually really liked that experience. Of course, I don't know what it was like on the back end. So
right.
Neither do we.
We're still trying to process all of that.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting to try a new platform. So we'll hopefully this will work as well as we think it will.
And I think it's neat that out of this pandemic we've taken Zoom and added layers onto it to make it do other things that it doesn't do natively to run a whole freaking conference, right? Virtually. So that's awesome.
And the AHA had been experimenting even before the pandemic. In 2019, we did what we called a distributed conference, where we actually held our conference. We held live events in 5 different cities around the country over the course of, I guess it was 2.5 days. And there were live events, but then it was live streamed.
Mm-hmm.
So you could watch it from anywhere. So we like the idea of doing things, the conference virtually, because then people who don't have to worry about traveling and getting the hotel room and all of that, it does cut down on the interaction between people, which is such an important part of in-person conferences. But so we really looked for something that would allow some of that to happen. Mm-hmm. So in addition to the 2 days of conference sessions, which I want to talk about because Sarah, you will be doing one of our sessions.
Yeah.
But in addition to those 2 days of the actual conference sessions, we also have several days leading up to it where we're having various kinds of social events or training. There's a celebrant training, and we're going to do a lobby day. And so the conference fee, the ticket price, gets you into all of that. Not the celebrant training. Celebrant training is extra. That's a professional training. So
I guess I should probably be at that one too.
you have to work that out with Kristen Wintermute,
Yeah.
who's managing it, and Ann Clayson, who's teaching it. So.
Yeah, that'll be good. It's one of those things that, like, and we'll get into like the specifics of who's going to be there and what you can expect. But one of the things I think we've all been thinking about over the past year or so is, like, what does the future of conferences look like?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, we all want to get together and be in a place together, and there's something that you can't replicate that in an online space perfectly. Right. But also, I think we've all found that, like, what we've done by moving some of the, if you can do some sort of hybrid, or how can we keep people engaged? Like, let's get people there, because that's the point of having the big annual thing. But also, how do we make that available to people who can't? Like, I think having that online solution really opens the doors to people who can't afford to travel across the country to come to our thing, or
right.
afford the hotel and the ticket and the flight and all the things that are wrapped up in going to a thing like that. I think we're all sort of chewing on how do we make that a mixture going forward? How do we sort of meet both needs?
And there are also people who have increasingly climate crisis concerns about, all those people flying to one place.
Yeah.
So we really want to find, the AHA really wants to find ways to incorporate both experiences. Yeah. The ability to not have to pay all those extra costs, but still find ways to come together. And our Center for Education has been able to, it's a lot more work for them, but during the pandemic had made a real concerted effort to get programs going online so that there would still be it started with creating a special how do we cope with the pandemic set of programs, and then it's sort of snowballed into a whole bunch of educational programs with various authors, and we've done stuff on climate change and on reproductive justice, and there are some really interesting ones coming up, and so it'll be interesting to see how we can continue those programs when people are on the move.
And then you have that added layer of, like, people are zoomed the fuck out. Like,
no, it's true. That's absolutely true.
Everybody is doing, like, online webinars and meetings and, like, meetups and social things, and, like, because we all because there is something to that need to connect with people, that core human component of needing socialization, and so, like, we're all trying to chase it down. But I think we got to a point where it was just like, whoa, okay.
It's enough of that.
Yeah.
No more screens.
And when I went back to work, it was like, that's it. Like, pandemic's over, guys. Florida's open.
It never shut down.
Yeah, I was going to say Florida, and it never closed.
Yeah.
Never shut down.
Okay, so let's talk about the week's events, really. So you mentioned that there is a celibate training, and so
yes, there's a 2-day celibate training on the July 17th and 18th, and you can register for that. If you go to the conference website, there is registration information for that as well. It does require a separate registration, and that is designed for people who are either already celebrants or interested in becoming celebrants. So either way, you will find something to appeal to you. And then we also have, there's going to be an event for chapter leaders, sort of an evening get together. There's going to be we're still working on putting together a series of author readings for one evening. There's going to be because as many of you know, our executive director, Royce Beckard, is leaving us after 15 years. So we're going to have a going away celebration for him. We're also, so that those will all be leading up to the conference event. And then on Friday before the conference event, will be a networking, an opportunity for sort of formal networking. It's the Whova platform has like it's described as kind of a speed dating thing where you randomly get placed in a virtual room with 3 other people, and then at a set interval you change. And so you will, you do that for a half hour or something. So you get to meet some of the other attendees at the conference. And there'll also be an opportunity to visit our sponsors, Humanists International and Black Nonbelievers, and oh no.
Oh no! Oh no!
we have a bunch of sponsors.
No.
And then the conference activities, the formal sessions start on Saturday and run for several hours on Saturday and then also on Sunday. So Eastern, it goes on Saturday from 11 to about 6:30, and on Sunday we're somewhat shorter, 11 to 5:30. And then after both sessions, there'll be more opportunities, social opportunities to gather, including there's going to be discussion groups on Saturday evening. Emily Newman, for those of you who know her on our staff, is busily working on setting up regional groups. So you can sort of go meet with people in your region and
That's cool.
discuss chapter group issues. And
Nice.
yeah.
The last time Devin and I did that, it was a party.
Well, I'm sure
Quite the party.
the Southeast region will.
Yeah.
Glad to have
Still
you.
recovering. Still recovering. I'm enjoying the chat roulette type.
Yeah.
dating.
Kamikaze
Yeah.
chat
I was like,
rooms.
oh no.
Okay, now I'm going to call it a chat roulette instead of speed dating. That's much more.
No, because all I can think of is like someone like showing on screen with their penis. So, see, I got that worded. I got
Okay,
that worded.
so we will have moderators.
Yes.
Yes.
Our staff members will be moderating
Yes.
all sessions.
That's good
So
to know.
if somebody does that, they will disappear quickly.
Awesome. Good.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of deal, just in case you get stuck in a room with somebody who's just.
Right.
I mean, we've all
It's
been
true.
there.
It won't last very long. So
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
As a person with like anxiety and social whatever, like normally the idea of that just sends me into a complete terror. When I worked at Disney, they did this speed dating networking thing, like, oh, you're in this management like pool, and they set you up to do all of this like round robin, go meet all of the people that that you could potentially work for, and I have stress just thinking. I don't even work there anymore, and it's already like I'm getting flashbacks.
She's still.
okay, so
going
this
to
is supposed to
therapy.
be fun. So
Yes,
if-
this sounds
if it
better.
causes anxiety, you should feel free to skip that session.
Yeah, and that it's online. I like that. That
Right.
that,
You can
that
just go,
makes
oh
it better
man,
too.
my internet looks like it's going out.
Yeah, exactly. You can pretend to freeze.
Yeah. Take a picture of yourself beforehand.
Right, exactly. Be prepared.
Always.
Now, so you all are also doing exhibitors during the weekend too. How does that work?
So there's an exhibitor section of the platform. So whenever you want during the conference, or as soon as they set them up, I know at least one of our exhibitors already has a video up. And so you can visit them anytime you want during the conference. And then at certain set times during the conference, they'll have the opportunity to do live presentations for whoever wants to visit. And there'll be enough set aside time so that you can visit, as many as you want.
Cool.
Nice.
Let's do this then. I want you to talk a little bit about the presentations, the presenters.
Absolutely.
What we have to look
I
forward
wonder
to.
why.
But this is what I'm gonna do. No, listen. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put you on screen, and then I'm gonna monkey with the lights for a little bit. So, so Nicole, no
away from
pressure.
the sun.
No
pressure. I'm just going to get very big, right?
You just have the whole show is in your hands. Good luck.
We'll still be here to talk you through
I
it.
have anxiety. So some of the sessions we are planning on Saturday, we're doing a very important session on humanism and service, which Sarah is going to do with Tiffany Ho from Foundation Beyond Belief, where we'll talk about humanist activism and community service. Monica Miller, who is our legal director and senior counsel, is going to be doing a session on all kinds of separation of church and state issues. Some discussion of what we're working on currently, including a new Texas case we just filed, but also some of the nationally important cases that have happened lately through the Supreme Court. The Dobbs case for next session on reproductive rights, but also the Fulton case that came down and the new Brnovich voting rights case. And she's going to be welcoming a special guest who hopefully we'll be able to announce next week. I can promise that it will not be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Although now I want to get a Ruth Bader Ginsburg lookalike to do it. I wonder if you can still hire those. And we'll also be doing sessions on Saturday on social justice and humanism, and on advancing humanist values in a red state. And then on Sunday, Mark Reimers, who did a sold out session for Center for Education at the AHA earlier this year, is going to be doing a session on, it's called Dogmatic Delusions. And it's essentially about how people get sucked into believing in conspiracy theories and misinformation, which is obviously very important. And Mary Zhang from the Secular Student Association is going to do a session on anti-Asian racism as a humanist issue. We are going to be, the Foundation Beyond Belief is going to be presenting their Heart of Humanism Awards, which they do every year at our annual conference. And that's always a great session, which really focuses on the ground humanists doing good community service work. Pretty sure this year, because of the pandemic, they're going to be more nationally focused than they usually are. Typically, we hear about great projects around the world, but I think this time it's going to be more national. And then we also have a session with a panel of humanists under 40 talking about how we can all get more young people involved in the humanist movement, which, despite this panel, tends to skew older, and
I was gonna say you found enough humanists under 40 to put a panel together. That's
there's only 4 people on the panel. So we might have found all of them, but we want to change that. We're going to talk about how we change that.
Tell those 4 to call their friends and tell each of their friends
Right.
to call 4 more people.
right. Yeah. If everybody calls 4.
Exactly. And then Glenn Branch from the National Center for Science Education is going to be talking about the twists and turns in teaching evolution. That's some red meat for the humanists who want to talk about science and evolution, some of our core issues. And then before Dr. Fauci gives his remarks, we're going to have Rachel Deitch, who is our director of our policy and social justice director, and Ron Millar, who runs the Center for Freethought Equality, which is one of our affiliates, are going to do a training for our lobby day. We're going to have a virtual lobby day on Monday around the Do No Harm Act. So, and if you want to register for the lobby day event, there is still room, but that's a small number of registrations we can take. That is a separate registration, but no cost. And you need to register for both the conference and lobby day so that you can have the training before we release you on the to lobby your representatives on Monday.
Are you going to be dividing people up by are they actually going to meet their reps?
Yeah, that's another reason why we're asking for advance registrations, is that Rachel Deitch will be scheduling individual meetings with the representatives of the people who are interested in participating, and then each of them will have an AHA staff person to help shepherd them through the process, in case the idea of meeting your representative all on your own is a little nervous making. And then on Monday, there'll be the lobby day, and then there is the annual meeting of the Center for Freethought Equality, and Mark Pocan, who is a representative, is going to be a speaker at that. And that is always that meeting is always very interesting, because you get to hear about all the issues that we need to be watching. But you can only attend that meeting if you are a member of CFE, which is free, but you must go to their website and join. So,
and you can get all of those things at conference.americanhumanist.org.
You in fact
and then
can.
You can click the links to all the different things. Yes.
So it's a lot of information all at once. Oh, and I forgot to say something very important. For listeners of this podcast, we have a discount. So if you put in the code FIF5 for Freethought in Florida 5, you will get $5 off, and your ticket price will be just $10.
Oh, this is insane.
What a deal. What a deal.
Sunday.
We've made the big time. We have our own discount.
You want to take that $5 that you saved and donate it right to us.
There you go.
There you go.
To continue help fund this show.
Some new lights.
Yeah. I actually kind of like this now. That you have this
I
like.
look like I'm in a room where there's lots of smoke.
You have this like heavenly glow. I think.
It's true.
It's because the light is like just out of frame.
Yeah.
It's also very hot.
Yes. You're visiting soon, aren't you, Devin? I can't wait to. We should do this. I thought you were. We should do the show in studio. You actually in studio, all of us together. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be great.
It's so crazy.
You
so
told
you
me
need to buy
something
another
about
camera.
Oh, that's right. I am.
Do that.
I am.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
am.
You are great.
Okay. So eventually, yes.
Make it so.
It shall be done. No, I'm excited about the Lobby Days event. Like, if anyone's listening and has ever wanted to talk to the representative, this is like the easiest way to do it. And there's someone with you, or you're a group of people.
Right.
However you do it, is so easy. That's just how I got addicted to doing all legislative type of things. Is going to the Lobby Days for the SCA. I think it was right before COVID.
Yeah,
That's how-
they did do it. I think they were the last one in the community to do one. So
It's like fall of 2019. I went and just I was addicted at that point. So yeah, Lobby Days, highly recommend. Everyone sign up just for that.
yeah, no, absolutely. And you, like I said, there'll be a training so you can learn all about the issues that we're asking you to lobby on, and so you don't go in feeling like you don't know what you're talking about. And there'll be somebody there to help you. So if you're not sure how to start the meeting off, that's all taken care of for you. And yeah.
I think a lot of people are anxious, nervous, whatever, about the idea of like meeting with their lawmaker. First of all, around here, like, good luck. But right.
I mean,
and then the pandemic happened and everything went virtual, and we thought, boy, what a great, like, super easy to make meetings with people. We can do it all virtually now, not around here. Not so much in our neck of the woods. You think, I mean, it'd be easy, but that's almost like they don't want to meet with you.
What?
But here's the thing, they're just people. Like, if you remember, like I say all the time about, when we ask you to call your representatives, you're not talking to the representative. They don't want to have a debate with you. When you do that, you're going to get a staffer, and all they're doing is like taking a tally. Do you support or oppose the thing?
Right.
Done. Thanks for calling. Have a nice day. Like,
Yep.
So if you remember that, think about some of the people that have been elected in Florida.
Yes.
They're
not good.
They're just people. Though.
Barely that.
They're not like up on a pedestal. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna start naming names, but I think I'll refrain.
We'll hold on that one.
Where the Marjorie Taylor Greene is from? I don't know if we have
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
who wants to lobby
I
her.
mean, there might be just people, but some of them, Sarah, are demon busters.
I mean, we have Matt Gaetz. That's a thing we got going for us.
Man.
Yay!
Oh boy.
Oh.
Where's this going? Oh, now we're depressed. Okay. And back.
And back.
Reset.
Okay. So anyway, yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to be presenting with Tiff. We have been, like, our organization has just been gangbusters with the service stuff.
You're insane.
And we are.
Hardcore.
Yeah. And so it'll be good to talk about that, because I think of things like, sometimes we just often get stuck in this trap of wanting to talk about things and being very cerebral and philosophical, and like, that's cool, but also, like, there are people in the world that are hurting, and if that's not what humanism is about, I don't know what it is. So, like, let's go do that. Let's go put humanism into action. So yes.
Yeah, no, there can't be a place for that.
Yeah. There's a place for all of
You
it.
can go.
Sure.
You need to verb it up a little bit, guys. Just verb it up.
Verb it up. I'm gonna save that.
Nice. I like that.
Verb it up.
Oh, I'm full of them tonight.
All right. So again, go to conference.americanhumanist.org and sign up, learn all about all the things, see all the information. Do you want to stick around with us and talk about some stuff in the news?
Sure.
Cool. I mean, you really do have a choice. I'm not holding you here.
Yeah, but you all are so much fun.
Did you
Are
take a
fun.
selfie before the show so that you could fake frozen computer?
I did. From now on, I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
Yeah,
where it all goes downhill.
We like learned that from a middle schooler or something, right?
It was Cartman, I believe.
Oh yeah, it was Cartman. Right.
South Park.
All right. So the first story that we have in the news tonight is about our friends the Satanists. So when things
Love them.
when things happen, and we often think like, wow, that's like a huge pole vault across the line of church state separation. It's often the Satanists who show up to put a nice point on that issue.
There are Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call?
Who are you
Point
gonna
of
call?
5-star
The Satanists. Yeah, 5-star, 5-pointed star, whatever it is. So you will probably recall we spent a lot of time talking about this stupid cross in Maryland, the Bladensburg Cross.
I feel like the AHA has a very
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big
that
interest in
that would be our case.
Yes. And we had, I want to say we had friend of the show, Monica Miller, on.
We did.
When that was all going down to talk about that. So the Supreme Court ruled 2 years ago that the Bladensburg Peace Cross in Maryland was constitutional. Just stupid on the grounds that it's kind of old, so it loses meaning after a time has passed or some dumb thing. But and this comes to us from our friend Hemant over at the Friendly Atheist. The argument was that it was so old, people no longer treated it as a Christian symbol. I repeat, they said this wasn't a Christian symbol.
If only they'd start doing that with the Bible.
Well, since it's no longer since it's no longer a Christian monument, that means it's kind of up for grabs. And the Satanic Temple is calling dibs on it. So this is what they're going to do.
I love it.
This is so good. This is so good. So they're going to take symbolic control over the monument and rename it the Bladensburg Satanic Peace Cross. They're going to host a live stream ritual there on July 10th. And I'm so disappointed. I had I've been in contact with Lucian Greaves to try to get him on the show, and we're not able to make it happen before this event. So maybe we can get him on after and talk about how it went.
Recap.
Yeah.
I hope they take lots of pictures and video.
Oh yeah. Oh
Sure
yeah.
they will.
This is going to be great.
Hells yeah. I'm excited.
Are they gonna I mean, I don't know. It would be really cool if they could get like some what's the word? You know how Disney does like the laser show on the castle to make it look like other things?
Oh yeah. That's a projector show.
Yeah, they should do a projector show on the cross.
On the cross.
With a pentagram on it. And
Oh, definitely.
yeah, that
Set
would
it on
be great.
fire. Like all kinds. You could
could
go
do so
many
much.
things.
I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of it. It's not an attractive cross
No.
either.
It is
It's
not.
this like big cement thing, and it's in
Yeah.
terrible shape. That's one of the issues, is that they're going to have to spend some branch of government is going to have to spend a bunch of money on it just to repair it and keep it safe. So
Right.
they can project prettier things on it.
I hope that when they after their ceremony or during the ceremony, it just starts crumbling, like right then.
That would be awesome.
Could they project like Satan crucified?
Or just put like the crossbar down, like at the other end, and have an upside down cross.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things that was suggested when they were talking about possible remedies before they decided there didn't need to be a remedy, is just to take off the two arms of the cross and make it an obelisk.
Right.
So yeah, they could
Yeah.
just make that happen virtually.
Oh, so much.
So they
love it.
say, delivering the decision, Justice Alito wrote, the Bladensburg Cross has come to represent a place for the community to gather and honor all veterans and their sacrifices for this nation, end quote. As the Supreme Court essentially ruled that a 40-foot tall cross on public property is considered a monument that represents all faiths, TST takes this to mean that the Supreme Court is inviting TST to memorialize Satanist veterans through this community-based monument. I love it.
I love this so
I love
much.
it.
I do. I wish
love
we
them.
could go.
Right? Lucian Graves issued a statement about the planned event and why they chose this particular monument. It is important to note that our acceptance of the Satanization of the Bladensburg Cross is a narrow...
Satanization of the cross.
Satanization.
Satanization of the cross is a narrow ruling on the part of the Satanic Temple in response to the unique circumstances surrounding this particular monument, and is not a blanket acceptance of religious monuments which indicate one particular viewpoint, disingenuously said to convey a secular inclusive message. To put it bluntly, we find it rather bizarre and somewhat hilarious that theocratic activists hailed a ruling allowing the cross to stand, even as that ruling explicitly stripped the cross of any religious context, robbed it of sacred purpose, and imbued it with mixed religious meaning, which is surely nothing short of blasphemy to any serious practitioners of the Christian faith. So go ahead and celebrate that the cross remains on public grounds, blissfully ignorant to what you have lost. As Satanism is a religion that truly values pluralism and inclusiveness, the codified and judicially affirmed redefinition of the Bladensburg Cross, in particular, makes it more satanic than Christian. Love it.
Good.
Love
A
it.
lot of that was just turned around language from the actual
Right.
Yeah.
word. So
Genius. Genius.
Lucian really has a way with words.
Yes.
Really
Yeah,
does.
he does. In another statement, the Satanic Temple says TST has a long tradition of supporting its military members. This has included assisting TST members who want to organize prayer at the U.S. Naval Academy, the appointment of lay leaders to establish a religious ministry in the U.S. military, and the construction of a veterans memorial that was intended to be erected in Minnesota. Oh, I remember we talked about that
Belle Plaine.
years ago. Yep,
Yeah.
Belle Plaine has the distinction of being the first city to approve a satanic monument consistent with the Supreme Court ruling. Bladensburg is the first city to actually have a satanic monument on state property.
Way to go, Maryland. Good job.
Yes.
Way to go, SCOTUS.
So there you go. They're gonna live stream the
Interesting.
whole. They're gonna live stream the whole thing. If you want to watch it, you can go to the Satanic Temple website and
So good.
check it out.
So good.
Yes, it's
Bless them.
it's unfortunate because like I know that like all nonprofits, their time and members and money and everything is like where everybody's so strapped for everything. But there's so many things that come up that you just go, man, I just wish the Satanists would show up. Oh.
Please.
Yeah, so I want to talk to him about like, so how do you choose what
to
you're gonna
jump
do?
on.
And yeah,
There's another cross on public land in another huge one in Pensacola. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll
I thought it was.
Visit-
I thought they
visit
tore it
Florida.
down. They did have something.
We had a
covered
case
that, too.
against
There
them
was a
that
whole
was
thing.
that ended after they were waiting to hear how Bladensburg would go, and then
Yeah.
well, it may have come down after that. They wouldn't take it down when we asked them to, though.
I don't think
Oh.
so. I think
We should do a road trip.
We'll talk about our road trip later.
That's right. Road trip.
Yeah, road trip. The next story. This one comes from the
You taking the
Associated.
kids with you, right?
No, this one comes from the Associated Press. Atheists, humanists sue over Mississippi's license plates. 4 words on Mississippi's license plates have sparked a federal lawsuit. American Atheists, the Mississippi Humanist Association, and 3 non-religious state residents filed a lawsuit against the state over its "In God We Trust" license plate. The complaint accuses the Mississippi Commissioner of Revenue of violating the people's freedom of speech and religion by forcing them to display the religious message on their personal vehicles. All right. So the default, everybody signs up for to get a license plate to put on your car. All of them say they have the state seal on it in the middle, and in the state seal, it includes "In God We Trust." All right. Now, if you want an alternative to that, you have to pay for one of the like specialty plate designs, which is like $30 or something, right? And so essentially the argument here is like there should be an alternative that doesn't cost $30 so that I don't have to have the "In God We Trust" on my license plate.
Because they do have the alternatives that don't
Right.
cost extra money, like Purple Hearts,
Mhm.
Purple
Right.
Heart awardees. They can get the a non-In God We Trust license plate for the same cost as like the regular one,
Right.
as my kids would say. So yeah, this is not out of the question. This is an easy fix, Mississippi.
This is so easy.
Easy fix. Stop
If
fighting.
they wanted to.
Yeah. American Atheist Mississippi Assistant State Director for Gulfport, Sarah Worrell, said, "For years, I had a personalized license plate message on the old blues guitar design. In 2019, when In God We Trust became the new standard plate, I was forced to either give up my chosen message or display it alongside the Mississippi government's religious statement. I shouldn't have to make that choice. The government shouldn't be able to decree that I display a message that goes against my beliefs." Of course, the governor just tweeted he's going to defend the motto
Threats of all
plate.
Mississippians.
"I know Mississippi's values are our strength, and I meant it when I said as governor I would defend our values every single day. I will defend In God We Trust on our tag, on our flag, and on our state seal every single day," he wrote.
We're not saying you can't have it, people.
Right.
Just
You can
saying
still
that for
have
the
it.
people that don't want it, they should have another option that
It's-
doesn't cost
yeah.
more.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, just he's proving the point right there to continually say these are our values, our values. They're not everybody's values.
Mhm.
I mean, that's why everybody shouldn't have to display.
It's infuriating.
We should get Nick back on to talk about this. The last thing I would say about it is, again, the idea is not that we're not trying to say get rid of In God We Trust, right? That it's an
It's
important
just a
distinction to
battle.
make. We're not, because
Absolutely.
look, we've tried. There's one dude that's tried to get it taken off the money like 3 times or something, and he's kind of
He
nutty.
just needs to calm down.
Yeah. So
Pick a battle you can win, dude.
Right. So, like, we get it. The courts have decided that this is, ceremonial deism and it's just traditional and blah, 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 whatever. So we're not going to get rid of the motto through legal recourse, right? If we're going to change our motto, that's going to be a cultural change over time, to where enough people come together to say, hey, we want to change the motto to something, I don't know, like maybe E pluribus unum, that's more, speaks more to the values of our, I don't know where I've heard that before.
Sounds familiar.
It sure does. But something like that. I don't know. You pick your own thing. But anyway, like, the point here is not, we're not trying to take your motto away. What we're saying is you can have your motto, but I don't want to have to. Just make me an option so that I can click B instead of A. This is so simple, so easy to remedy.
I mean, it's like, I don't know if it's just Florida, but I'm assuming it's most countries now. But when you make a phone call somewhere and it's an automated system, press 1 for Spanish or 2 for English. Like, I
Right.
don't remember there being massive court cases of the Spanish people begging to have that option. Like, and they just did it
It just did it.
because they recognize that not everybody speaks English.
Right.
It's the same concept. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday. Not in our lifetime, probably.
Probably not.
The ranks of the nuns are growing all the time.
So
Yes.
positive.
Such
True.
a positive outlook,
True.
Nicole.
Every
You're absolutely
survey
right.
we get bigger.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired.
It's
Absolutely. And
so tired.
we need to get all of them activated.
Yeah.
Right.
If we
I mean,
could
I heard you only have
herd the
4.
cats.
yes. If we can only have the cats.
The youngins.
If
we can only herd cats, guys.
we're gonna
Cats.
talk about like if we're gonna talk about like if we can get people activated and why, what are I have so many things to talk about in the Patreon segment
Oh
tonight.
my god, we're gonna be here all night, aren't we?
Maybe. Yeah, but like, this is such a simple fix. the article here ends. A quote from Nick Fish, president of American Atheists. No matter how much Governor Reeves or other politicians want to pretend that Mississippi is some kind of Christians-only club, it doesn't make it true. Forcing atheist drivers to endorse a religious message they reject is antithetical to our values as Americans and unconstitutional, plain and simple. Amen, Nick. Amen.
Can't argue with that.
The next story is also an American Atheist story. So we had a situation here that we talked about on one of the shows that we do. I can't remember if it was this one or not. Where there, do you remember the kid in Lakeland, I want to say, who refused to refused to do the Pledge of Allegiance,
Yes.
and there was this whole big like kerfuffle about it because
Yes.
it was a substitute teacher and
Yes.
they supposedly didn't know the rules and whatever.
That was the other show, but I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, this is a story of a Texas student.
Oh God,
Text.
Have those there?
that's like 10 times worse in Texas.
I mean, I don't know. We're constantly locked in battle for 50th place with Texas.
Well, I know
Really
they
are.
saw how we handled it. Now they're gonna
Right.
hold my beer.
Well, American Atheists announced a new victory in its lawsuit against the teacher who harassed, disciplined, and retaliated against a non-religious high school student for sitting out of the Pledge of Allegiance. Which, can we just talk about how dumb that is to start?
So
This
weird.
jingoistic, like, say the special words
weird.
and sing the special song while you're facing the special cloth with your hat in your hand. Like, I just don't connect with any of that at all. It's so weird.
I did it as a kid, at school, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I
and I
did
didn't think anything of it. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you didn't.
You're special.
No, we didn't think anything of it as kids.
We
It
didn't
was
think
just
anything-
we expected that's what everybody did. But that's
But
why it's
no,
like
it's
an
so
indoctrinating
weird.
Yeah.
sort of like if we
Like I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to. And I went through a rebellious stage where I did like once. No, not when I was still in school.
I'm telling Jehovah.
No. Like I don't now. Like I don't now because I'm like, this is stupid. But
Right.
there was a point in my life where when we went like ball games or whatever,
Yeah.
where I would say the pledge
You
or
would scream
sing
it.
the
You would
anthem or
yell.
whatever because I was like, oh, this is my right and my choice to do it. But
America.
growing up as a child who was expected to know how to explain why I could not participate,
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, I'm kind of glad that I had that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, well, yeah, duh, this is stupid. But I don't know. It's just it's a weird thing to grow up and
Yeah.
not like being that minority, like in that ball game.
It gives you an interesting perspective though, because like in an indoctrination sense, like the rest of us were forced to do
Yeah.
this thing, and not like forced, but it was just it was
on a
You
gun.
didn't have to be forced, right? You
Right.
just
You
it's
just did
just
it.
what you did, and
Yeah.
you didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they start you when
Like
you're
5
5 years old. It's
yeah.
the same with the kids at the daycare that said grace before food. And I mean, when our son
Mhm.
came home 3 years old and yelled at us for not praying before we ate, I was like, whoa.
Excuse
me.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
honey, no.
Mhm.
Wow.
And so, like, it just shows you that anything can be indoctrinated.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But it's to me, it's the idea of like if patriotism is forced, then it's not.
It's not. It does. Well, and it not only is it not, it just is valueless.
Yeah.
Like-
It's empty. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to with my sister and her family on Sunday to a baseball game, and the crowd will stand up and
Mhm.
sing the national anthem. Why do we have to be
Why?
patriotic before a baseball game?
Right.
What is that about? What's the connection?
Well, and
Yeah.
and like when it started, I think there was a war going on and all this stuff to try to. Wasn't that how it started?
A lot of
A lot of
it
it came from
with-
wartime, like trying to encourage patriotism. But we're so far past
nationalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so far past those
Yeah.
times. and it's-
America, we're the best.
Now it's just like, oh, it's a ritual.
yeah.
Like
Right.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals refused to grant the teacher qualified immunity. According to the student, she exercised her right to freedom of speech out of her objection to the words "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance, and her contention that the United States does not adequately guarantee liberty and justice for all, especially for people of color.
Oh, good for her. Ron DeSantis would like a word, though.
Reach. Quote, no student should face harassment and retaliation for exercising her First Amendment rights, said Jeffrey T. Blackwell, litigation counsel at American Atheists and friend of the show. We are pleased the court stood with free speech and reaffirmed just how outrageous the teacher's actions were. The lawsuit alleges that Benji Arnold, the student's 12th grade sociology teacher...
Stop. Just stop right there. Benji.
Benji.
I
Yeah.
looked this guy up, and he...
Yeah?
He's Benji.
I gotta tell
He's
you,
Benji.
I've
I'm gonna
only
have to
ever known one Benji in my
Uh-huh.
whole entire life.
Uh-huh.
A dog?
And based on that, well, no, not a dog. Not the dog. Okay, so I've known two Benji.
But yeah, right.
But based on the name, now I gotta look the guy up.
Okay. Where was I? I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I was Googling during the
Benji.
show. We're not supposed to do that. Benji harassed, disciplined, and retaliated against her for sitting out the Pledge of Allegiance. Although she was exempt from the pledge under state law and teachers had been informed of this fact during a staff meeting, Arnold nonetheless required that she write the pledge.
That makes it all better.
Yeah, it does.
That's
sure.
fine.
Yeah. After she refused, Arnold told her and the rest of the class, what you've done is leave me no option but to give you a 0, and you can have all the beliefs and resentment and animosity that you want. Whoa.
A 0 in what?
On the assignment of writing the pledge
That no one else had
that
to
no
do.
one else had to do.
That's
Right.
some
Wow.
bullshit, Benji.
That's some... I mean,
We get,
Benji looks like the type of guy that would do some shit like
we
that.
get complaints about this every year when the school year starts.
Yes.
Is he like an
Every-
old white guy? Is that?
Yes, very old.
I think that's him right there.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
How many complaints a year do you think you get? I'm intrigued by this.
I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I mean, I think we get 4 or 5 every year. And the thing is that most of the people most kids,
Mhm.
if their teacher said, get up,
Yeah.
would get up.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
And most others wouldn't, take it to, even if they didn't, wouldn't take it to the level where they, but it's disappointing that,
Yeah.
this has been going on for so long and
Yeah.
teachers don't know that you don't have to say the pledge.
Do you know if you're getting more every year than like what you have in the past? Is it like the number increasing each
Yeah,
year?
I would have to ask Monica.
Okay.
I don't
Like,
know.
I'm
curious
sure
about
there's
that.
an interesting Venn diagram of how many times it happens, how many times kids push back, how many
Right.
times kids just bend over and do what they're told to do, how many times they push back and nothing happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because there's so many different variables as how the situation can end. How many times it doesn't get reported?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Do they have to stand up though?
No,
No. Okay.
they don't have to
No.
stand up. They don't have to say it.
Now, there are some, this we learned when this stuff was going on down here, there are some school districts that have a policy that the administration needs to be notified of students who ahead of time of students who are not going to participate. I think there's probably a decent legal challenge on that idea too. Like you should be able to in the moment decide I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
We don't need to have you on record as the troublemaker or whatever,
We
which is what that causes.
we started
Exactly.
every school year with a little. I'll never forget what it looks like. It was a blue brochure, magazine style, and it was like you had to bring it every year to your teacher, and if you had a
I've seen this.
if there
I've
was a new
seen this.
principal, but it basically explained why Jehovah's Witnesses don't participate in holiday celebrations and why they don't say the pledge and why they don't do birthdays and what kind of alternatives you could offer a student who didn't want to be in the room for such celebrations or whatever. And so I every year I came in and gave it to my teacher.
Yep.
I've seen this booklet.
And I got to count that as service time and a placement.
Oh my god.
Like every day, it's like you add up the minutes every day you have to stand up.
Oh no, not that. Like
Just
giving the teacher the booklet, I got to count that on my service record times for being a good little witness.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And if I sat and talked to them, I could count those minutes too.
Oh, I'd be like, hey, let's sit down, chat for like an hour or so.
Well, my mom would schedule teacher conferences, and I know it was just for the time.
Oh.
I'm a little disappointed here. The article goes on to say, based upon audio of the incident. I need this audio. Nick, send me the audio. What the hell? I did a quick search to try to find it, and I'm not seeing it. But based
I
on
wonder if the student was smart enough to like turn on her phone or something.
Record it, yeah.
Based upon audio of the incident, the teacher then went on a long rant. Arnold offered to pay for students to move to Europe if they didn't like living in America, but they would have to pay him back double if they ever returned to the U.S.
Oh my God.
This is a binding contract.
On a teacher's salary? Really?
Right. Okay. He then exposed his own personal view of free speech and insinuated that anything else is un-American, quote, "You know, there's a lot of things I complain about, so when it comes time in November, I go vote or I protest in writing and legal. Those are the ways we do it in America," end quote.
Exactly, sir.
This person
So
is
that's not the
teaching
definition
children.
of free speech.
Right, yeah.
Dude, I don't care what your version of free speech is. What is the Constitution's version of free speech?
It very much reminds me, though, of the history teacher that I told you the story about the other week, that super racist history teacher who participated in Civil War reenactments. I don't think you were on for that. That was the show I did with Allie and Shawanda. This is the teacher that I had in high school history teacher who said things like, and I quote, "I don't have any problem with black people. I think everyone ought to own one or two."
Oh my God, I've heard this.
Like legitimately out loud in front of a class in the 90s.
Oh my God.
Right. So yes, I could totally see him being the guy to be like this guy. Like if you're in his class in homeroom or whatever and you didn't stand for the pledge, I can totally see him doing this.
I think that the consequences for teachers that do those types of things is that they should be put in a room and forced to teach race theory, critical race theory, with intimidating black women in the room.
Yeah.
Like put
like
Mandisa
that.
Thomas in there.
Oh, I like
or
that.
Put, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like find your intimidating black women,
Mandisa?
put them in a room, and make those jerks.
Yes. I like it.
I love Mandisa too.
We were talking a moment ago about ceremony and tradition and whatnot, and this falls right square into that too. Like the reason we do this is because we've always done it. But our friend Will Judy says ceremonial D's nuts.
I will.
Texas is in the house. The next story. This is
love you.
This is positive stuff tonight. The next story is about Gavin Grimm, who we have been following since 2016. I want to say.
You were gonna say
like
20 years ago.
No. Come on. I mean, it seems like it's been that long.
It feels like it.
We started following Gavin's story on the old show.
And that was how many years ago?
2016.
Okay. She did say what year. Okay.
So the Supreme Court handed down a victory to transgender former public high school student who waged a 6-year legal battle against a Virginia County school board that had barred him from using the bathroom corresponding with his gender identity. The justices then left in place a lower court's ruling that the Gloucester County School Board had acted unlawfully in preventing Gavin Grimm from using the boys' bathroom before he graduated in 2017. In doing so, the court opted against taking up a major transgender rights case that could have set nationwide precedent on the issue. That, knowing the makeup of the court, is real surprising to me.
Shocked. I'm still shocked. Really shocked. They have been punting the ball a lot this year, though. Like they've had some bad ones, but it's been like super narrow rulings, or well, not all of them. But they've just kind of maybe Roberts does care about his legacy. I don't know.
Well, I wish he'd thought about his legacy before he gutted the Voting Rights Act yesterday, but
I don't like that one.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No.
That's a cheap subject.
Oh no, but no. Good for I guess Gavin probably no longer cares about this. He's out of school.
I mean, yes, but
it's a great win.
He
He
fought hard on it. He was the keynote speaker at the 2018 AHA conference, and he was a very powerful speaker and told that story about everything that happened and the support he did and didn't have, and it's still on our YouTube channel if you want to go listen to it.
I need to watch that.
I think the thing that you'll find with a lot of activists in general, but especially trans activists, like he was fighting for his right to use a restroom, but I think we all get like, first of all, the gears of the legal system turn super fucking slow, and again, like he graduated before anything ever became of anything, right? But like I think. And especially with younger generations, they're keenly aware that, like, this was a big fucking deal. This was, he was really fighting for trans rights. Yes, his right to use a restroom, but like, the idea that this is such a much bigger thing than just him.
Right.
He got that. He knew that's what this was about.
Well, and that's, that speaks to why it's taken, like, he knew it was going to take a long time, and he stuck to it, knowing probably full well that it would not get solved before he ever left his school building.
Right.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
What's he doing now? I feel like I kind of want to.
I don't know.
Where's he now? Where's
he
at?
Once upon a time, I reached out to him, and then didn't really go anywhere. But that was a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing now. What's he doing now?
I'm intrigued.
Gavin, where are you?
I like endings. I like happy endings. So I wanna know.
Well, hopefully he went off to college or whatever it is he wants to do in life, and he's using
whatever
whatever
he wants.
Yes, exactly.
He's peeing all over the place.
Well, hopefully not that.
Okay.
He's in law school or something.
And God love him. I don't know what person in their right mind actually wants to go into a men's room. Have you been in a men's room? They're nasty.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
No thanks.
But anyway.
I'm so torn on that sometimes because, so at work, we have these two office buildings that are sort of adjacent, right? Our office building and the building across from it. Our office building has two single-use restrooms, right? Single-occupant restrooms. And they are both non-gendered. Across the hall, in the fire department office, there are two single-occupant restrooms. And when the thing was constructed, they were the male and female restrooms and shower. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why the hell the builders decided to do it that way. But then like, because, so I work overnight and there's a lot of, anyway, the restrooms on our side were these it looks like our son has been in that restroom, like stood at the door and just hoped, right? Like, right. And so I won't use those restrooms. I won't. Half the time I did for a while. I'd go in there and then I'd come out screaming and cussing, headed for the cleaning supply closet, right? So you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. There's a women's room across the hall at the other office. I'm going to go use that because it's never dirty. It's always clean. You know what we did? A few months ago, we decided to ungender those restrooms.
Oh, no.
And so now they are disgusting.
Oh, no.
Same thing.
And I
the
get
same
like
thing happened at my work.
it's the right thing to do, and I get
It's the right
that.
thing to do.
But like, boys, listen,
Come on, guys.
listen, penis havers. I want to tell you something right now, and I
Penis
wish I had taught our son this from jump. If it has a seat, you sit on it, regardless of what function you're doing. If there's a seat, sit.
Vomiting doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Sit and hold the bucket.
just sit. Right. Just
Because,
sit.
sometimes.
The same thing happened at our work though. We had I'm in the basement by the morgue, and there's like there's a males and a female, and I'm like I was like one of the only like females on the entire floor.
So you had the whole restroom to your
I
side.
had the whole restroom to myself, and then like it's the same floor as like the facilities guys too,
Uh-huh.
and they're big manly men.
Yeah.
And then they made them gender inclusive, and now it's just like I'll walk upstairs
Yeah.
and find something else.
So I don't have a job, but I have a really nasty bathroom, and then no, I'm just kidding. No, that's not what I was gonna say. I do well, like pre-COVID, I worked at the school a lot, and so I spent 90% of my day in the library, and our library is really nice. There's two. They were gender-neutral bathrooms, and the new librarian, like just 2 years ago, came in. And she put signs over them, and now one is students and one is adults.
Good. That is
And-
smart.
And you go into the adults one, and there's like a nice basket, and it has period products in it, and flushable wipes, and all the things you might want to make your bathroom comfy. There's smelly stuff. There's
And in the student one, there's a hose, so you can just wash it down.
That's all there is. Drain it in a hose.
I had to go so bad one day, and somebody was in the adult bathroom, so I just went into the students' bathroom because I was like, I'll never go in there again. It was like, oh my god, these kids are nasty. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
All
Yeah,
right.
I feel like I need to congratulate all the men at the AHA because we
Good job, guys.
gender neutral bathrooms, but they're in great shape.
Well
So,
done.
Then it must be the humanist. That's
Oh,
the
that's
component
what. That's the thing that's
missing.
different, right?
Yeah.
The next
I really
story.
want humanists.
The next story comes to us from the New York Times. American passports will soon have another option for gender. And this is a big fucking deal. Particularly. So my passport
Royal Caribbean.
has not been updated since I transitioned. And there's reasons for that. Mary, this comes again from the New York
Becca
Times.
misses the cruise boats.
Mary Emily O'Hara has not left the U.S. in more than 3 years, waiting to apply for a passport that will allow gender to be marked with an X. O'Hara identifies as non-binary, or someone who does not consider themselves to be male or female. O'Hara's driver's license, issued in Oregon, already declares a gender of X. Having a U.S. passport marked with an M or F would not only feel wrong, O'Hara said, but it could also risk accusations of carrying falsified documents that contradict other forms of identification. That will change under a new Biden administration rule announced recently that will create a gender marker on passports and citizenship certificates for people who identify as non-binary or intersex or otherwise do not conform to traditional gender roles. The process is complex and will take time to complete. Yeah, okay, man. Damn it.
How much time?
So much time.
Too much time.
Hey, listen, as long as he gets it done before the first term is over, just in case.
Right.
We never
Yeah.
know.
In the meantime, so this is my big deal. In the meantime, Americans who are applying for passports and proof of citizenship when born abroad will no longer need to show medical certification if their stated gender does not match their other identification documents. The State Department had required a doctor's certificate stating that passport applicants had transitioned or were in the process to change their gender on official consular documents. The spokesperson said that rule was no longer in effect. So these are like great changes to be more inclusive. One of the reasons that I hadn't changed mine is because of the requirement to show proof from a doctor that you're undergoing transition or whatever. There's so much gatekeeping bullshit in transition. First, you have to see a therapist, and the therapist has to go, yep, you're trans. Now you can go see a doctor and get hormone treatments. And then you find a doctor who will do the hormone treatments. Luckily here, I was able to change my social security and my driver's license, no problem. Once all of that was done, I just went and changed my name and changed all my documents. But if you want to change your birth certificate, well, you have to go to the state of your birth. Well, for me, that's Illinois. And in Illinois, they still require you to have had surgery to change your birth certificate gender. So there's like so many different things that you have to change and do. It costs $400 to go to court to just change my name. $400. Like,
I don't even want to know what the surgery
Well,
costs.
Then if you have to do something that requires multiple forms of ID,
right?
Yeah.
Then
and
they don't all match.
they don't match. So, which kind of begs the question: why do we need to identify gender on
Not
ID?
all. Right.
You've got a damn picture.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Oh, I agree. It's not necessary.
I mean, it's a step in the right direction, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe having the passports have it will encourage states who don't allow non-binary or X or people to choose what they want to put on it to make the change.
This is one of those things that it just boggles my mind when we think of this is one of those reasons why I think state rights are stupid. States' rights, what? These are the types of things that should be nationalized. It should be the same everywhere you go. The birth certificate thing, the driver's license thing,
right.
all of that stuff should be consistent from state to state.
I was thinking that earlier because we're traveling out of state and we have a child that's still in a booster seat. And so I had to look up, because we're renting a vehicle, what the laws are for booster seats in that state.
Right.
And they are different than they are here. And I'm just like, ugh. I shouldn't have to, I should just across the board, especially when it comes to things like transportation and moving, it should be government issued ID. It should be good in any state, so that if I move from Florida to New York, all I have to do is change my address. I don't have to go to the New York DMV and get a new.
Right.
I don't know. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
FYI, there's a thunderstorm going on.
Well, and of course, the DMV is one of the places where you have to show multiple forms of ID.
All the ID.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I remember when I moved to Maryland, to Ohio, on this too, you had to put your weight on your driver's license.
Oh, but that fluctuates.
I was aspirational on mine.
I've always been aspirational. Documents like that too.
Yeah.
That's what I think I should be. So.
Wait, the license says you weigh. You clearly don't weigh that amount.
Sure do.
Well,
It's just
I
a lot of
mean-
air
that was a while ago.
last week.
Well, they ask you when you go in for your driver's license how tall you are. They never measure you, so mine may or may not be an inch off.
Yeah,
Right.
I've shrunken.
The only thing that I'm not sure about with this, that I'm gonna have to do a little bit more reading on, is the way it talks about the medical certification for proof of citizenship when born abroad. So that it doesn't. According to this, it doesn't say natural, like Americans born on American land getting a passport. Do they still have to provide all of that bullshit medical documentation still? I don't know. I have to look into that.
Well, I imagine you have to prove where you were born.
No, but I mean
But-
medical
oh, yeah.
documentation.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Surely if they're changing it for people born abroad, they're changing it for everything, right? Surely.
saying. I would think.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that some more. The final story tonight, we talked Y'all are tired of hearing us talk about this. I know. We talked so much about the stupid anti-trans sports bill that passed here in Florida and like 30 other states. Like it's a red meat pervasive thing that particularly Republican legislatures pushed this year. Well, now there is a brave, my new hero, 13-year-old trans girl suing Governor Ron DeSantis over this stupid law that will prevent her from playing girls' sports at public schools. The Broward County girl, Daisy, has played on girls' soccer teams since she was 7, but will no longer be able to do so on school teams under the law that takes effect Thursday. Thursday. Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Hashtag Team Daisy.
This is from Florida. This is from Florida Politics. Participating in sports has given her leadership skills and provided her a social network and support system, according to the lawsuit filed on her behalf by the Human Rights Campaign in a federal court in Fort Lauderdale. The lawsuit only identifies her as DN to protect her privacy. The group said her name is Daisy. She also planned to try out for a high school volleyball team. There's a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of correlation here with Jazz Jennings' story. That she played soccer on girls' teams until they were like, hey, you can't do that anymore, as a young girl. The lawsuit says depriving her of these opportunities will have a long-term impact on her future. It also will create a sense of shame and diminish her positive sense of self, which can have lifelong consequences. The new law also sends a message to Daisy's current and future teammates that there is something wrong with her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so proud of this girl.
This girl is my new hero. Yeah, get him, Daisy. Daisy began taking hormone blockers to stop testosterone when she was 11 and began receiving estrogen this year, according to the lawsuit. It says because of the treatments, she has no competitive advantage because of her sex assigned at birth. Quote, if Daisy does not have the option to play girls' sports in high school and college, she will not be able to play sports at all and will lose the benefit of being part of the team network that has supported her emotionally and psychologically. She may be isolated and face emotional and mental confusion and emotional distress during this critical period of her social and psychological development. Yes, exactly, all of those things. And like even the hormone blocker thing, like, okay, that's a good argument of the whole, like, oh, we're worried that these kids are gonna, go through male puberty and then they're gonna have advantages. Okay, well, not this kid, but also, like, that shouldn't be a qualifier either. Like, the dangerous road that sends us down is that, okay, well, we'll meet in the middle. In order to let your trans girl play on a team, then she has to have hormone blockers and be on estrogen and block her testosterone and all of this stuff. Okay, but you also have to understand that a lot of people cannot have this various medical interventions for one health reason or another. Back to the issue of getting your passport updated, there are trans people who cannot undergo major surgery like that. Just can't do it physically because of their health, because they don't have the money to do it. Like, there are lots of reasons why trans people can't access care. So I worry that I'd be cautious when we use that talking point.
The other thing is, right, but it's of course bullshit that the people who make that argument care about those issues at all.
Right.
They have never, these are not people who have a history of being interested in women's sports before this issue came up. They do not care about fairness in women's sports.
Right.
They are not protecting women.
And
And
they're
not interested in protecting women.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what they named the bill here to start. It was like fairness, equality in women's sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fairness in women's
it's
sports.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean also like the whole hormone thing. There's an issue right now because the Summer Olympics are coming up, and there's several female athletes, primarily African Americans, or I guess they're black because they're in Africa. Okay, I don't know, but that have really high levels of testosterone naturally. Like they're biologically female, and they're not going to let some of them compete because their testosterone levels or their hormone levels are
stupid.
too high. Why?
Yeah. Where does it end?
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
There's
infuriating.
there's a whole bunch of like the lack of understanding of science behind it. But also I do feel like a lot of this argument that they don't want the testosterone levels of this girl to be higher than the other, all of that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a veil
Mhm.
covering the
Absolutely.
anti-trans of it, because
Yeah.
those same people would turn around and go, well, I don't want that sissy girl on my boys' team either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I hate people so much sometimes.
Yep.
I agree.
Well,
Good for Daisy.
I hope Daisy mops the floor with these people.
Team Daisy.
Team Daisy.
Yes, absolutely.
Love her.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. What do we got coming up, Devin? What do you have happening? Is there anything exciting that you have coming up?
So Humanists of Tallahassee, humanistlh.com. We are still collecting box fans to give to elder care services in town. That's like this is for like a lot of the elderly in town don't have air conditioning in Florida, which sucks, and so their only source of cooling are box fans. So we are collecting those. I just dropped off 7 last week that were donated.
I saw the window ones, the double window ones at Aldi this week.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
They specifically want box fans or
Oh,
floor fans.
okay.
So,
Well,
but you
never mind.
can put the box fans in the windows, but it's not quite.
Yeah. All right. Not what
I
you're
get
looking
what
for.
you mean.
Okay. Never mind.
Although I think they would take them. I'll just
Right.
pick
If
them up, I
it's
don't care.
free, here it is. You're
Yeah,
not gonna say
they'll
no.
take
Yeah.
We are still continuing our adult bicycle drive for the International Rescue Committee for the refugees coming into Tallahassee, which should be August, September. This is a way for people to get to work since our bus system is terrible, and otherwise they have to like take a 3-hour bus ride to get to their job. So that's something we're still doing. You can check that out on our website. We are planning our first in-person meeting or social event soon, and we're also
Wonderful.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm so tired of my computer.
It's tired of you too.
It's so exhausting. But we there's some fun stuff coming up soon in the service world. So that stay tuned. I'll come back with that.
Cool.
It just kind of happened today, so I'm not gonna.
Ooh. So you're not gonna give us the scoop?
Oh,
Secrets.
We'll talk off air.
Okay.
Nicole, we talked about the upcoming conference. Is there anything else going on in your world? Or
So hard for me to see beyond the conference right now,
I
but
know,
yeah, the Center for Education has several programs on their calendar for July. One in July just before the conference is Royce Beckhart is going to do a book talk on his new book, Justice Centered Humanism. And there are, I know, two other talks in August. So definitely check out our events calendar for those. Our legal department is working on a case in Texas that they just brought, where the parole board is requiring an incarcerated humanist to, as a condition of parole, to join Alcoholics Anonymous.
No.
We talked about this on the
to-
show.
There are
Yeah.
other
Oh, did
options.
you? Yeah, it won't permit him to do a
bullshit.
secular alternative like Smart Recovery or something like
There
that.
are
So,
better options.
and then our policy and social justice staff is working hard on the Do No Harm Act, and if the For the People Act or the Equality Act get brought to votes, we're working on those as well. So
Awesome.
that's what we're up to.
Becca, do you have anything going on? Anything you want other than packing?
We're packing. We won't be here next week. Womp womp.
Ooh,
Oh, I was gonna announce that in a little bit.
no.
Oh well.
Oh well,
No, I'm
cat's out of the
just-
bag now.
No, I'm getting ready for that, and then when we get back, we'll be full steam ahead into the rest of summer.
Yeah.
Hooray.
We got our kits made.
Yeah, we
and we're
did
gonna
talk about like what all that was, what all was in it.
So we did, basically it's a care package for our homeless community here. And we found drawstring backpacks on Amazon with a reflective strip.
Nice.
They were really nice. And then what we put in them is a couple pair of socks and a little hygiene kit that included a razor, some shave cream, a deodorant,
Some soap,
bar,
shampoo.
soap, shampoo,
yeah.
body wash, toothpaste,
All the
toothbrush.
things.
And then I think Alec was going to add like some crackers and
Some food.
little
stuff.
food, dry food stuff into that. And then we had a side pack of like period products for anybody who might need them. So covered all the bases there. We're going to start distributing those, I think, this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
So
And
That's great.
and that was thanks to our gold level Foundation Beyond Belief
yes, couldn't have done it without that grant.
grant. Yeah. So it's all big one little circle. I love it.
It's awesome.
Love it. Yeah. I want to talk. We're going to talk about this in the post-show Patreon chat about how like that stuff is meaningful and important, but it's just a drop in the bucket. I want to talk a little bit more about that. I have. We still have the scholarship going on. Secular Student Alliance does their annual scholarship. Atheist Community of Polk County has funded a $1,000 scholarship. Florida has like a whole bunch of different ones, and there are of course other ones throughout the country. And everyone that applies is eligible for the Secular Student Alliance scholarship. So if you go to fif.show/scholarship, you can apply. August 31st is the deadline, so you still have a little bit of time, but don't procrastinate. Don't put it off. Get it done. And then Devin and I are workshopping. We're working on a presentation for a Florida speaking tour that we're doing about herding the cats.
Herding cats. Herding cats.
We want to like re-energize local activists, get you connected. Oh, Devin disappeared again, Satan. Get you connected with, get your organizations connected with other organizations, other secular organizations, connect everybody together, advocacy groups around social issues that we all care about. So if you're part of a local atheist or humanist or UU or Freethought, whatever type of community anywhere in the state of Florida, and you want Devin or I or both of us to come speak to your group, either virtually or maybe in person, I'm willing to do a little travel. Send us a message at info@fif.show, and we'll come herd your cats.
We're starting the New World Order in Florida.
Yeah,
That's great.
something
That
like
scares-
that.
That's gonna scare
I
the
just
crap
had an
out of me.
amazing
know-
idea for your road show.
Okay.
Sarah, you should, or both of you, you should think about writing something up for humanist.com.
Done.
Yes. Done, and done.
It's like they were waiting for you to ask.
Right.
That would be great.
I seem to get that email once a month. Like, hey,
Yeah,
you
I
just
know.
said a
Well,
thing. Sarah, will
if
you write about
stop
it?
doing interesting things, we will stop asking you to write about it.
You need to start charging.
I love it.
Don't think it's level.
Oh.
Oh.
So again, Nicole, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun chatting with you. Everybody go to conference.americanhumanist.org, sign up, and we'll see you at the American Humanist Association conference.
Great.
Next week,
See you there.
next week on Freethought in Florida, we won't be here. It's dark. So there will be no show next week.
But go back and watch all the old ones.
Yeah, sorry about that. And that's it for this week. Freethought in Florida is available on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find all the subscribe links at fif.show and send us an email at info@fif.show. Like, subscribe, share out all the episodes, do all the things, help us reach a bigger audience. And of course, remember the 3 most important things. Wash your hands, get your vaccine, and be kind to each other. Be safe, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Come back for Freethought in Florida.